right, welcome back. And if you're not watching this, sorry. Trailers. There have been some trailers that have come out this week. We have there's two on this list, but I gotta say, I Frankenstein. I'm usurping the list. I Frankenstein, which for a start sounds like a crappy Apple phone app.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
And then
better. It's got to be better than the trailer, though.
Well, it's based on a comic, right?
Yes.
And then it was also, is it written by the same guy who wrote Chronicle?
Produced by Underworld producers.
yeah, it's from the team who brought you Underworld, so there you go. But
I'm gonna look up some.
Aaron Eckhart, going from Harvey Dent, Two-Face. If you've watched this trailer, I mean, this trailer it looks Van Helsing bad. I mean, honestly, that's the only thing that's missing is the long flowing mane that Hugh Jackman had, along with this mishmash Irish, American, Australian accent which we had, and then we had Kate Beckinsale. I mean, this
in tight leather pants. That was a plus.
But this doesn't even have Kate Beckinsale in tight leather pants.
No, it does not.
Which at least Underworld has.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked the first Underworld. Second
was
Underworld,
passable.
not too bad.
Third
one was atrocious.
It declined, yeah.
But again, Kate Beckinsale in
Kate
pants.
Beckinsale.
I mean, let's just throw out, he was also in Olympus Has Fallen and
Yes.
Battle Los Angeles. So he,
Which I actually,
just saying.
I moderately
hear
enjoyed
this.
Battle Los Angeles.
Really?
Moderately. I said moderately.
That's too much moderate.
And then
Yeah.
Olympus Has Fallen. I watched that on a plane a couple of weeks ago, and I got to say, for a plane when you're sitting in the middle row on a Virgin flight to Washington D.C., it's actually quite fun.
Fair enough.
Because I had like Economy Plus, so I didn't have to pay for
Have you
it.
seen White House Down?
I saw White House Down.
Okay, of the two, where do you fall?
I'm actually more of a White House Down guy because I think Channing Tatum's just so dreamy.
Okay, fair enough.
But I enjoyed both of them as the pap that they were. I mean, honestly, 15 years ago, this would have been a Stallone and Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis movies.
Well, I mean, White House Down, definitely. It's nothing but Die Hard in the White House.
Yeah, which
bring your wife beater T-shirt.
And that's kind of worked for me. I mean, Gerard Butler, bless him, he's gonna have a hit.
My favorite part about
his
White
heart's
House
in the right
Down
place.
is I watched it on the plane a week ago, and the credits list, it's starring Channing Tatum. I took a photo. You guys, this could now be floating. It's starring Channing Tatum and Jamie 20th Century Fox.
Wow.
It's how they had the official credits. And maybe it was because I was on like an 11-hour flight. I just thought that was way too hilarious.
Wow. So you saw White House Down on a flight. You saw
Olympus
Has Fallen on a flight. I don't fly enough, apparently.
But you know what? No matter how far I fly and how desperate I am for entertainment, I will not watch After Earth.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can I say something about After Earth really quick? It's not horrible. It caught a bunch of shit for being this nepotism, Jaden Smith, Will Smith shtick.
M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong.
Yeah, okay. Admittedly, it doesn't have a twist.
That's 3 strikes, and not even Gary Whitta, who is he's a friend of mine.
It's not horrible.
I got nothing but love for Gary Whitta. I actually liked Book of Eli. I thought that
Book of Eli was fun.
That was a great movie with Denzel Washington in it.
Yeah.
This one though, I've watched it. I've watched the trailers for it. I have watched Will Smith and mugging up for the camera in the promos.
Sure.
I've seen Jaden Smith looking like he needs a slap in the promo, in the promos, and the Shyamalama Ding Dong. I mean, honestly, how that guy keeps on getting funding for movies is just beyond me. He's the Uwe Boll.
Come on.
He's become the Uwe Boll.
Such bullshit.
Oh, The Happening?
The Happening was
Sure,
terrible.
The Happening is horrible,
The
but
Hap-
it's made better than an
trees.
Uwe Boll movie.
What was the water one? Lady in the Water?
Lady in the Water was not good either.
Avatar.
Sure. Oh, I'm not saying the
The
guy. I'm
Village.
not saying the guy
Last
is making
Airbender.
bad movies.
Yeah.
I'm simply saying he's no Uwe Boll.
I don't know. I think there is.
Uwe Boll, you're lucky that like the camera isn't pointed down at people's
Look,
shoes in Uwe
with
Boll
Uwe
movies.
Boll, you watch one of his movies on Sci-Fi because they fund them, and you're getting 10 tons of shit in a 5-ton bag, with no pretensions of being anything else. You watch it,
Have you listened to Uwe Boll? That
Yeah,
motherfucker's pretentious.
He
thinks he's the shit.
It's,
Well, when I see the words Uwe Boll, I know I'm getting a pile of shit.
Right, but
when I'm watching an M. Night Shyamalan movie,
you now know you're getting a pile of shit.
Sixth Sense and Unbreakable are two of my favorite
I'm
films.
so Unbreakable.
I
Fucking
I like
Unbreakable.
I really liked Unbreakable.
No.
I like Unbreakable.
What's wrong with Unbreakable?
I'm
Seriously?
Such
defending
a cool
Unbreakable.
premise. I really liked Unbreakable.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot you, Dad, because unless you lift those weights. Really?
Yeah. Have you seen American Children nowadays?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Letting it go.
All right, so I
Signs. What about
Frankenstein.
Signs? Where do you fall on Signs? I'm just curious. That's the only one we haven't touched yet, so give me that.
Yeah, I didn't like Signs.
Okay, fair enough.
I didn't like Signs. Yeah, but The Happening, Mark Wahlberg, and trees that are.
Well, it's the wind. It's the wind, man.
Look, if
Bad
you
guy's the
want
wind.
killer wind, give me a curry.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
So I had a curry last
Finally.
night, by the way. Anyway, all right. So I Frankenstein. Look, we went off topic, but it looks
Just a little. Just a
well, that's
tiny
why
bit.
people tune in for this discourse and discussion and rampant off tangentism.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty much agreed.
I Frankenstein's gonna be horrible.
For timing purposes, let's skip past these 2 trailers.
Okay.
But why don't you tell people what to watch, and then we'll move on to these longer discussions.
The new American Hustle trailer's out. David O. Russell looks fantastic, coming out this December. The Need for Speed trailer.
Don't watch it. It looks like a bag of stink. It looks awful.
Aaron
what I
Paul
want.
drove right off the set of Breaking Bad into the movie.
I just
And
hope
that's Elise Willem's joke.
that
Oh, are we doing a? Go ahead. Yeah.
I just hope that we have this is maybe the beginning of Hollywood taking video game movies slightly more serious.
I liked Doom.
You only liked it because of Carl Urban.
No, that end like first person sequence is excellent. We can all agree on that. We cut this.
Don't
No,
go anywhere
we're not
near
cutting
the
any
Need
of
for
that.
Speed trailer. It makes the last Need for Speed game look. Need for Speed was it? What was that one? Need for Speed.
Run?
The Run. Yeah, it makes that look awesome. But Aaron Paul, dude, take your Breaking Bad cachet and do something way better. Please, save yourself. All right, discussion time. Heavy discussion. We'll get to Jet Gravity in a minute. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Marvel's Agents. Joss Whedon's Marvel's ABC's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Presented by Disney.
Presented by Disney and...
Based on characters by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
Exactly.
Sponsored by McDonald's.
We are 3 episodes in here in the U.S. And I got to say, I mean, I enjoyed episode 1.
Are they in more episodes other places?
No, I think they might be
Less.
behind us.
Oh, okay.
That's the way it works with the television.
I think my problem with the show right now is I don't know if they know what they really want to be. There seems to be a lot of inner team arguing of like.
That's all they got, unfortunately. That's
But then
that's the only thing they
so
have.
that should either be like the whole thing and like
Right.
let's slow down the fact that the hacker is maybe a double agent
Sure.
and like let's not have those plots solved in half an
episode.
episode.
Yeah.
It's not even an episode. It's
Yeah,
like
you're right. She has
they're
her. She has her.
They're
flip.
like flipping and everyone.
Well, it's like they
is.
introduce it at the end of one episode, then it's solved halfway through the second episode.
Right, and
it's
then
just,
same
there's
thing,
No,
like,
you're not
Ming-
giving us any story.
Ming Na's character was like, I don't want anything to do with this action in the episode 2, and then halfway through episode 3, she's like, I'm in. So
and
it's-
completely underused.
So it's,
Yeah, well, let's take that with that point. That's the point I
Right.
want to make. Between Coulson and Ming Na, you've got 2 pretty good actors and
Yeah.
actresses there
Yeah.
who are charismatic, who are different to everybody else on the show, and they're criminally underused. And you look at the rest of the team, and no disrespect to those 4 actors, but you don't have a decent personality between them. You have
Fitzsimmons is weak.
if Fitzsimmons would be bad if it was just one person. It's like one poorly scripted character cut into 2. Then we have
What's the main guy's name? Matt Grant. Is that what's his character's name? It's so it's duller than
it's
he
so
is.
forgettable. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I call him NBD, nice but dim.
Right.
He is there as the hunk of granite that is like, oh, blah blah blah. I will teach you. I will be your SO, and I've got a chin, and he has all the charisma of a 4-month-old used tampon. And then you've got Sky, who is, she's the outsider. She is a poor man's Gwen Cooper. She is a poor man's Gwen Cooper from Torchwood, and they're all so pretty, and they're all so good in the tight little outfits.
Well, that's
and,
network TV. You
but I'm
can't
sorry,
blame
it's
network.
bollocks. I mean,
that's network TV. It's
but I
never
mean,
gonna change.
let's go back to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah, you had Sarah Michelle Gellar, who was the cute one, but you'd have Willow, and you have Willow's girlfriend.
Also hot. Allison Hannigan, hot.
No.
Charisma Carpenter, like, come on.
Allison Hannigan. Allison
come on.
Hannigan didn't start off hot. She grew into a hotness. And
I was
evolved into
on
a
set while
striking
that was
woman.
being filmed. She was hot.
Well,
She's super.
But
She
on,
was super cute.
on
Super
screen.
cute.
Those first, they dowdied her down a little
Right.
for
I
those
mean,
first
that's
couple of
the
seasons.
let's put the good-looking girl in glasses and
Yeah,
piggyback
exactly.
But I mean,
and
exactly.
act like she's
it
not
worked.
good-looking.
It worked. I mean, Nicholas
worked.
Brendan before he exploded, he was a Peter Parker-esque kind of guy.
And then you throw an Angel, and he's with
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like that's
But
just
I'm
that's
just saying,
TV.
yeah, but
like
it's-
I think that's your Fitzsimmons in this. So you're nerdy but good looking. We're gonna play down that they're.
Do these people exist beyond this table?
What?
Nerdy but good looking.
No, that's why it's TV. It's make believe.
But it's only there's only like 3 of us. 4. You consider
You're
at least.
throwing Chris. Come on.
I'm
He's running
sorry.
the camera.
Speak for yourself.
He's
I'm
wearing a
ugly
Hollister
as fuck.
t-shirt.
Um,
But I
No, no,
digress.
no.
I'm making
it's,
jokes.
It's
but
cheap. My biggest problem with the show is that it looks cheap. Is that it looks like it still looks like.
You didn't fall for Cuba looking like Southern California?
Well, it's not even that. It's just like the lighting is really flat. It looks like an A-Team episode or like a Knight Rider episode.
And we talked about that after when you were away. We talked, after the pilot had aired, and I said it felt like a Stephen J. Cannell production.
Yeah, very
But
much.
that was in a good way for show 1. Show 2, we're in Cuba, which is a subset of Calabasas. We're now in Malta, which is just further up the road in Calabasas.
Yeah.
Calabasas is in Southern California. And yeah, it does. It
feels, and it's like there's something odd about the way it's being shot because they use these wider shots and action scenes, and it's almost like you feel cap guns going off when people shoot and stuff like that. It's just this really bizarre.
Take it to friggin' Toronto, for God's sake, because Toronto
Whoa.
doubles for so many different.
That's all. I mean, they're doing all the filming in Southern California.
Yeah, and,
could
you know,
pick
which is
out, like,
fine. I just say
I
happy
was
to take
picking
that
out the
money.
spots in my
buy a
neighborhood
buy a
that
couple
they were
filters
filming.
for a lighting kit.
Yeah.
Do something. Give it some atmosphere.
I mean, do a whole episode inside a base somewhere or something. I mean, and let's look at the show is missing a big bad.
Yep.
It doesn't seem to know right now if it wants to be, all these different permutations in the characters working together and eventually evolving, or there is going to be a big bad threat. And honestly, I mean, after the pilot, I said I'm in. I'm gonna give this a couple of more episodes, and it's coming off my DVR, and I'm gonna basically watch it if I happen to be in front of the TV.
Well, as of the morning of this recording, it was given the full 22 episodes.
Yep.
So as of today, it's officially 22 episodes, which means it will run through Thor and Captain America released in theaters, which I'll be curious to see how they implement, if they implement amongst the two. It's going to be our first kind of crossbreed back and forth to see if they actually if
Coulson
that
has to
affects the show.
Jump out for an
Well-
episode to go handle something, and it's him and Thor. Yeah, I mean,
Or
that's
how
the stuff.
how those
But that's the thing.
storylines even affect the show itself.
So here's another plot point I have as a major issue is that Coulson is back and he's on this plane, and Nick Fury knows about him, and what's her name, Maria Hill knows about him, but Stark apparently doesn't know that he's alive. Thor doesn't know he's alive.
Well, Thor's off planet in theory.
But are you telling me
I'm just saying.
Tony Stark, who with a button hacked the Shield computer on the on the helicarrier, doesn't know about this? He doesn't know that Cole. I mean, he was probably the most cut up when Coulson was killed.
Yeah, I guess.
how do
I
we-
mean,
how do we know he doesn't know?
There is this disc. Well,
we don't know that he doesn't know yet, and I would say when is this? This is taking place after Iron Man 3, right? So
I believe so. Yeah.
It needs to.
Pepper's in the hospital right now,
Yeah.
recovering.
Yeah, he's in China or wherever they're at, having that whole operation and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So, I
they-
mean,
it does.
they're
It
busy.
honestly does need a CGI Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr. providing some voiceover for an episode to really bring it up, because there's none of the pep, there's none of the
Well, I think
witty
that's. I think
banter
I was shocked
repartee.
they actually went that far and had Sam Jackson in as Nick Fury in the
As
second
quickly as they
episode.
did, yeah.
Because usually that's something I feel like you would save, but
Well, it almost felt like let's put it out there to get renewed and then see where
It
we
also
go.
would have been nice if the Sam Jackson scene had any bearing on something versus it just cancel the fish tank punchline at
Yeah.
the end.
I wonder how much
Don't wreck my
they're
plane.
at least first season how much they're afraid to make anything that'll impact the films. You know,
Right.
they don't want anything to float up from the TV to the films, because
Right.
if the show would get canceled halfway through,
Right.
And we've
So,
said
like,
that
how
he's
much,
like,
you
you're
know,
not
it's
going
all
to see
being
anything on
pushed
TV.
down.
You'll see in the
Right.
films, but it's either. Well, it just because it keeps on alluding to these little tie-ins and it's like either make a break, stand on your own 2 feet, make it your own, or go all in. I mean, it's just shit or get off the pot, because it doesn't seem to know its own identity right now, and it's like a dog chasing its tail. This team, we need to get everybody together, and the girl is hot, and she's a hacker. Is she a double agent? And he's nice but dim, and he's got big muscles, but he likes her, but he doesn't like her. And Coulson's got a car, and Ming-Na's driving the bus, but she wants to fight. No, she doesn't want to fight.
Are you okay?
Did I just sum up their entire, the entire problem?
I hope they
did.
get past the team stuff, like in this next episode, and they're like, okay, great, we're a team, we're all going to work together, like, and then we need to start introducing some sort of big bad, some sort of.
They need to kill one of those buggers off.
Wow.
They probably will at some point in time. That's very Whedon.
And in fact, they need to kill two of them off, and I would vote for Hacker Girl and Mr. Chin.
You've just made the show interactive. It's better.
There
now.
you go.
No, I think those two out of the way, and because they need. I mean, I can see their logic. We can't have Ming-Na as a front and center character because she's too old for TV or whatever. But I think she needs more airtime.
Oh, very much.
Well, I think she'll get it now that she's gonna
get back in the field.
She wants to get back in the field.
Yeah, 6 episodes. After that, I'll decide. But
all right.
So far, it's not pulling it off.
Take note. Gravity. I'm out. See you next week.
Okay, with Marcus out of the room, we're going to discuss Gravity a bit. For those of you who haven't seen it, probably best to tune out now. Maybe I'll throw up the time we finish talking about Gravity right now, so you know at which time to come back in for our farewells. Elisa's joined us. Jeremy's still here. Gravity, folks, let's hear it.
Gravity. I still have a bruise on my leg from the person I was sitting next to, gripping my leg.
And you didn't know the person.
Right. It was a stranger.
Yeah.
No. It was a friend. So it's an intense film. I went in, I only saw the first trailer.
Right.
I'd like to kind of go.
That's the way to see it.
I feel like that's the way. I mean, for me, it's just I try not to see a lot of the trailers.
Sure. Well, yeah, definitely. The less you know about this movie, the better.
Here,
yeah.
So I try not to spoil movies because I feel like those are fun. And I knew it was some sort of catastrophic event happens in space and.
Right.
Sandra Bullock and
how about Space Debris, Villain of the Year?
Space
Debris.
Space Debris.
But yeah, I think it was it. People have been asking, do I go see this movie? Do I go see this movie? And my answer has been, it's not a movie, it's an event. Make sure to go see it in 3D.
Yep.
It's the first thing since Avatar that I have thought you need to see this in 3D. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a great film. Like I have some issues with the dialogue and the characters.
Sure.
And I think taking that home and watching that on your TV is going to make the film seem worse. I think, a lot of people missed Avatar in the theater.
Right.
And then 8 months later when it was out on DVD, they were like, that movie was kind of shitty. And
right.
you're like, yeah, it kind of is if you see it on,
right.
SD on HBO on, a Saturday afternoon. It's not the best film. It's half of this movie is about the experience of seeing it.
Very much.
And the effects. I could have done without the daughter that entire plot, and the dramatics of the situation to me were more interesting than the dramatics of whatever she had in her personal life. And I the overblown rebirth metaphors. I could have just done with a straight this is a dramatic event that happened and this is the rescue, as opposed to giving it some kind of.
Yeah. I guess the whole idea is what she's she thinks she's dying, so she's reflecting on the mistakes she's made in life.
Yeah, I just have no soul. But yeah, 30 minutes worth of, or 30 minminutes of uncut. I think there's 3 scenes, right? That comprise 30 minutes of uncut footage in this film. Which that opening sequence,
the 13
going
minutes,
around the arm, is incredible.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
That's all I want. So we need to make that said.
All right. Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. It's I was hoping for more thematically. This is not the next 2001. This is not the next Sunshine. This is, as far as delving deeper into, philosophy and kind of the human experience. Although it is very much about the human. I mean, it is about, it is very much about.
Unfortunately,
it's a very simple, but it's a very. I mean, it's it's okay that it's kind of this streamlined, very simple human story of survival.
Yeah.
You know, and it could have, to some extent, it is a story that could have taken place anywhere. I mean, it could have taken place in a jungle. It could have taken place in a desert.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
it kind of reminded me of what is it, 128 hours later?
127
Yeah.
hours. Yeah, yeah.
Like where it's like it's just a very personal kind of
Very simple, yeah.
experience. I mean, I'm glad they kind of kept it all in space. There weren't
Oh,
all
yeah.
these flashbacks to her and her
I
daughter.
know that's what I
later.
thought might
Like,
happen.
I was like, okay, I'm glad they didn't do that.
Me
So it's
too.
like, you know, them reflecting on that. It's the movie though. It is relentless.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It is a thriller in the best sense. And like you mentioned, seeing it in 3D on a big screen, it has to be seen on the biggest screen possible in 3D. I mean, I caught it in IMAX 3D, and I don't go to IMAX movies at all. I'm always kind of like, what's the point? But this was one of those ones where it's like you are so enveloped in that world, and you kind of at moments you feel slightly dizzy. You're feeling the weightlessness of it. You're feeling. I mean, that first 13-minute shot, you feel and completely understand the loneliness of space. No matter how vast and big it is, you still feel it feels completely claustrophobic in a way. You know, it's just it's bizarre, but it's and it's, you know, it just, like you said, it is relentless. It just keeps on coming. It hits you, you know, it just hits every time you think, okay, maybe we're gonna be safe for just a minute.
Yeah, you get to exhale.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, God, again.
next, yeah.
Like,
It was like Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
Like, to a T.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, finally. Like, she's catching a break. And then, she literally catches
Yeah.
a
and Clooney plays just another amazing kind of Clooney character.
Clooney's fun, yeah.
He's
Oh, yeah.
fun. He's just
Yeah.
like I think originally it was Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Junior, yep.
He would have been too much, I
Too
think.
swarmy. I
Yeah,
felt
yeah.
like.
Smarmy in space.
Smart.
But and I'm neither pro nor anti Sandra Bullock. I thought Sandra Bullock did a fantastic job in this film.
She looked great.
She looks really cute with short hair.
that doesn't float in space.
That doesn't float in space.
Yep.
Yeah. The way the way Cuarón pulled this off, the guy's a visual master. I mean, the guy, he will figure out technically how to make something work.
So they shot
and he
some
makes
of it
work.
underwater. They shot
Some of it shot underwater.
Did they do the parabolic flights for this?
No, they did not.
Right?
That was the original plan, because they were going to do the Vomit Comet for stuff.
That's hard. I mean,
then
I've been in the Vomit Comet,
Right.
And it's
Well,
I actually didn't vomit.
Apollo 13, I believe they did
Yeah.
some little.
Yeah.
They shot.
But
some
it's
bits for
like
that
you
in
get
it.
like 40 seconds at a
Right,
time is
right.
the problem with that.
Yeah, so like the shot once she gets into the International Space Station and she first gets her spacesuit off, that was all underwater. A lot of that stuff was underwater, and then lots of mechanical rigs and
Right.
10
all
foot
kinds
by
of
10 foot box.
Yeah.
That they lit and shot it in.
And yeah.
Like 80% of the film or
Yeah.
something crazy like
yeah,
that.
a little torture device to some extent. But the scene, the most human scene in the film is when she's in the space capsule. And she picks up the transmission from China
Yeah.
somewhere, and it sounds like it's just some ham radio
just
operator or something like
yeah.
that. And it's such an interesting connection that is made. It's really touching. I think that bit between her and him, and there's not like a conversation or anything that takes place with them. It's just her finally hearing another human voice, and the man is singing it at one point in time, and there's a dog barking and all this other stuff, and it's just kind of that. You're so far away from any of that, and it's just it's so, yeah. That moment actually caught me a little bit. Though the script was not solid in any way, shape, or form. But I don't think they could have. It would have been amazing as just a silent movie, like with
Yeah.
music and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like no
I
dialogue.
would've-
If they had pulled it off with no dialogue, or just kind of like after that first stuff starts
Yeah.
off.
There's actually, I think it was maybe Slate that had an article, someone critiquing it, saying that maybe 25 years from now, people will look back at Gravity as campy.
Right.
Just
It's highly
for the
possible.
sheer,
Yeah.
like-
Yeah. And I think people will probably look at it as campy once it gets onto TVs, as far as the script
Yeah.
goes, because
And people
it's
will be
really
parodying it and
it's
stuff.
really ham-fisted, some of the dialogue, and trying to force in the character stuff to set up for why she needs to make the decisions that she makes to survive. But if it was just, and I think if it were strictly a silent movie, if you almost got rid of just all the dialogue, the heavy-handed metaphor shots would work much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
That's the stuff where it's like, because it's, I mean, all of a sudden you're watching just visual filmmaking. You're being told a story visually, and that's really where it succeeds for me.
Not every movie can be a Snowpiercer. Basically, like, Boon Jung-ho came out and he said that or it's among his inside sources, he does not care for the Weinstein's edit.
And it's what, 20 minutes
20
shorter?
minutes shorter, but then cut up to resemble an action movie. I mean,
And he was
this
all
is
for it
kind
at
of-
first, correct?
No, he wasn't.
Oh, he
I
wasn't.
mean, not that he publicly said he was for
Right.
it. I guess it was the kind of thing where this is what they told him he had to do. But yeah, I mean, I guess we just need to to realize that you can make a great movie, but ultimately if it's not about a train and Ice Age.
Yeah, it's not going to be any good.
I'm not going to see it. I didn't actually see Gravity. Kidding.
So that's our Snowpiercer update for this week.
Yeah, kind of. Though I have something I'm going to try to do.
Also, folks, the 20 coming up in a couple weeks. We're going to be having our Halloween special. I've been really appreciating the tweets that you've been sending us for suggestions for movies to watch. Please keep them coming. Tweet us at our addresses below, handles. Tweet addresses, these things. And let us know what horror films you want us to watch and discuss during the Halloween episode coming up in 2 weeks. That's it, right? We're done? Yep. We're good? Okay. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And on behalf of Marcus Beers, have a good day. He wouldn't say that.
No.
Fuck off.